1949, the North Atlantic Treaty was established in April with the original 12 members: Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, United Kingdom, and United States. You will notice that is Western Europe and North America, countries from those places. It was originally headquartered in London. And as part of the treaty includes Article 5, the famous or infamous Article 5, which many people don't know about, but everyone should know about. And even those who know about it haven't really read it. So I'm going to do that with you right now. And I'd actually Scott, I'd love for you just to react to this and tell me what you think about it. And other people can chime in as well. So Article 5, the parties agree that an armed attack against one or more of them in Europe or North America shall be considered an attack against them all. And consequently, they agree that if such an armed attack occurs, each of them, in exercise of the right of individual or collective self-defense recognized by Article 51 of the Charter of the UN, will assist the party or parties so attacked by taking forthwith, individually and in concert with the other parties, such action as it deems necessary, including the use of armed force, to restore and maintain the security of the North Atlantic area. Any such armed attack and all measures taken as a result thereof shall immediately be reported to the Security Council. Such measures shall be terminated when the Security Council has taken the measures necessary to restore and maintain international peace and security. So there's actually somewhat of a debate about what this means. How do you take it to mean?
Well, I think first of all, we have to understand that words mean something. And, when, for instance, President Joe Biden was just in Warsaw and he addressed the Polish president and he addressed the Polish public and he spoke about the sacred obligation of Article 5, that America will always respect and defend the sacred obligation. But what is that obligation? It is not to immediately go to war. I think it makes it clear if you read the text that it says that they will take such action, including the use of that they deem necessary, including the use of armed force, which means that armed force isn't automatic. It means that a member nation can take a look at something that has occurred, an attack, and say, we don't want to get involved at all. So it's not this automatic rush to war by 30 members of NATO. There's a misperception that grew out of the Cold War era when NATO maintained a full-time army on constant war footing in West Germany that was lined up against a Soviet/Warsaw Pact military that was also on a full-time wartime footing. So that if the Soviets came across the border, this military would be immediately drawn into combat. There wouldn't need to be any decisions made by their respective governments. It would immediately go into combat. And so I think out of that came the perception that NATO is inherently on a constant war footing. No, once the Cold War ended, that military capability disappeared. It's gone. And more than likely will never be reconstituted. There's talk about doing it now, but trust me, NATO can't afford to do it, but we can get into that later. But there's a huge gap between the perception of Article 5 and the reality of Article 5. And this becomes even more so when you have individual nations talking about carrying out their own preemptive military action as individual nation states. Article 5 will never apply there. Also, if nations are carrying out an Article 4 action, for instance, if NATO decided that under consultations under Article 4, which is the only other article, NATO can only go to war on two articles, Article 4 and Article 5. Article 5 is collective self-defense. Article 4 is when NATO agrees to consultations or to discuss. This is how NATO went to war against Serbia. This is how NATO got involved in Libya. This is how NATO got involved in Afghanistan. These were all Article 4 operations. But an Article 4 operation does not bring with it Article 5 protection. So it's not as black and white as people seem to think it is, um, and because there is no standing NATO military organization ready to go to war today, uh, in invoking Article 5 and actually implementing Article 5 are two totally different concepts. What military force could be brought to bear in a timely fashion is a question that I don't even think NATO knows what the answer is. So Article 5 is not what it's purported to be.
Okay, well, I'm learning a lot already, because as a peacenik, I was trained to think about Article 5 as